Hey guys, Valorant here, and today I'm going to talk about everyone's favorite Shadowlands content, Torghast. Am I right? No? Okay. Well, in all seriousness, unless you're one of the two people who actually likes Torghast, um, or you do it because, you have to do it to get your legendaries, the point is, if you're playing Shadowlands, you run Torghast, right? Because Blizzard has decided that if you want to make a legendary item, you're going to run Torghast. So it is what it is. But Torghast is actually receiving quite a facelift, if you will, in 9.1. There's quite a few things actually changing about how it works. And so that you guys aren't caught off guard, I've been on the PTR testing quite a bit of these changes in order to hopefully prepare you guys so that when 9.1 hits, you can just jump right in and not be confused by all these changes. So, let's do it. So the first thing you're probably going to notice right off the bat is old Torghast in 9.0 had 8 layers, and new Torghast has 12 layers. Now, you'd probably expect there to be new layers, right? But the next thing you might notice is that layer 8 used to award 570 Soul Ash for completion. And even just at layer 8, you're now getting 860 Soul Ash. And at layer 12, you're getting 1030 Soul Ash. And you're also getting 180 Soul Cinders, which are the new material required to take your legendary from rank 4 up to rank 5 and 6. But I'm not really going to touch too much on that in this video because this is more about like actually how Torghast works now. But essentially, the vastly improved Soul Ash drops is the catch-up mechanic. So if you, I don't know, skipped 9.0 or whatever the case is, maybe you playing a new character and you got to catch up on Soul Ash to make legendaries, this is your catch-up mechanic. So that you can essentially get almost twice as much Soul Ash in the same amount of time as before. And what's more is that not only does your first Torghast run per week drop a lot more Soul Ash, almost twice as much. But what's that? What do you mean your first Torghast run? That's right. You are now allowed to grind Torghast. In other words, run it over and over again within the same week. And additional runs will give you about 20% of this amount. So, for instance, if layer 12 is 1,030 Soul Ash, you'll get just over 200 Soul Ash for additional runs each week. So, I know everyone just wants to run more Torghast, right? But, if you are a few Soul Ash short of making a legendary, the option exists. Now, for what it's worth, I should probably mention you won't get additional Soul Cinders, the material for upgrading to rank 5 and 6. You will just get more Soul Ash. This is just intended to help you catch up on making your ranks 1 through 4 legendaries. If you've, playing a new character, trying out a new legendary, whatever. So the first thing you might notice is that the old Torments system has been completely overhauled, right? It used to be in each wing there was a specific torment. For instance, in the Soul Forges, it was like ticking fire damage, and in Mortrigar, it was the black pools and things like that. All of that is completely overhauled, and now you have this system called Blessings and Torments. And essentially, these are semi-random. Every time I've tried to rezone into a new wing, I've gotten mostly the same torments, so I don't know if it can be reset or not. But there's lots of different torments, and for those of you who are like rejoicing that you don't have the ticking fire damage anymore in Soul Forges and things like that, trust me, some of these new torments are arguably worse. So it is what it is. But essentially, that's the new difficulty progression of Torghast. As you go up from layer 8 to 9 to 10, etc., each layer has an additional torment. Again, I'm not sure if these are randomly chosen per se, but there are several different, obviously there's some that are worse than others. Now there are also ways to get more blessings and fewer curses, but I'm going to I'll touch on that near the end of the video. Okay. The next thing you're going to notice is this progress bar, this blue progress bar right under the floor, and essentially this is a speed bar. The more enemies you kill, the faster you kill them, the more this is going to go up essentially. And you'll see this little marker that's about 2/3 of the way through. And essentially, this just works in tandem with the powers that you're going to get. Again, I'll describe that in the cube section at the end of the video. But there's lots of powers you can unlock that, once you've got the bar above that mark, you gain additional power. I believe it's called empowered, is the term they use in the game. But you'll become empowered and you'll, gain various bonuses, and there's ways to make the bar drain slower once it gets up that high, and all kinds of things. Essentially, this is tied into the system of unlocking new floors that they are introducing. And again, I'm going to touch on that at the end. But essentially, you now get a score, a rating, for completing each layer of Torghast. And the faster you do it, the better. And it all revolves around this bar. So this is kind of a visual representation of how fast you're going, essentially. And for what it's worth, when you're in a safe zone, like the 3rd floor or the vendor bubble on the boss floor, it pauses. So, that's nice, right? So I'm going to fast forward a little bit near the end of my run here and show you guys the next big change. Each layer is no longer 6 floors. Each layer is now only 5 floors, which is kind of nice, because Torghast got a little bit grindy, a little bit tedious, and, this doesn't help a whole ton, but with the randomness of some of these floors and how long they could get, anything is appreciated, right? So floor 5 is now the boss floor. So it goes floor 1 and 2 are full of enemies. Floor 3 is the vendor floor. Floor 4 is full of enemies, and then floor 5 is your boss. So they removed one entire floor, full of enemies. Now, last but not least, the next big change. I mentioned earlier that there's a new rating system to define how well you did on each run. And it is also tied into unlocking new floors. I'm going to pause this for a second real quick here. And essentially, you're going to get a rating out of 5 gems. I call them, 5 stars or whatever, because they're stars in a lot of other games. It's just convenience, whatever you call it. Either way, when I finish this, you'll see that I get 4 out of 5 stars at the end of the run. And there it is. So you see I get a final score. I think 5 stars is 200 points, whatever. I get this thing called Tower Knowledge, which is going to tie into my next topic. And essentially, this is how you unlock new floors. So in 9.0, just completing layer 7 unlocked layer 8. It's not like that in 9.1, unfortunately. You have to get at least 4 stars or 4 gems on layer 8 in order to unlock layer 9. Fortunately, in interviews and stuff, Blizzard has said that there's 2 kind of paths they're going for with this. One being the players who like to do everything fast. Like if you want to do a speed run and you just blaze through your layer and finish it really quick, supposedly you should get 5 stars. However, if you want to be a more like methodical type player and complete everything on every floor, every little side quest, kill every mob, break every urn, all that kind of stuff, you are also supposed to get 5 stars. And I don't know the underlying system of what decides all of that under the hood. However, for what it's worth, I attempted to test both methods on the PTR, and it seems like they more or less both work. There was a couple times where I was able to get 5 stars just doing completion. I think the run took me like 40 minutes, but I did get 5 stars. As far as like what's what gives 4 versus 5 stars for like a speed run. I'm honestly not exactly sure, but whichever way you decide to go about it, you should be able to, achieve 5 stars if you want to. I don't know if there's achievements tied to that or anything like that, but there is an additional set of floors that's like a additional. I think it's cosmetic stuff and whatnot, in addition to twisting corridors. Anyway, that requires 5 stars, and you'll see that in the cube section. But anyway, I know requiring 4 stars on a floor just to unlock the next floor is probably not going to be a decision that's super popular with a lot of people. But for what it's worth, take it from me. I was able to try speed running and completion running, and I was able to relatively easy get 4 stars both ways, both methods, for what it's worth. Okay. This might be a good time to mention a couple bugs I found in the testing process. When I was doing a completion run, I think it was on like floor or layer 10. Like I said, killed absolutely everything, broke every urn, and I got 5 stars on completion. Great, right? Got lots of tower knowledge and all that stuff. The next run, I actually ran into Mariah's, looking for buttons, and I scoured that floor back and forth 4 times. Buttons was not on the floor. Obviously, I submitted a bug report, but I had to move on without finding poor buttons, and I was worried that at the end I would not get my 5 stars because I didn't complete that quest. And for what it's worth, I did get 4 stars at the end of that run. So I don't know if that's because of the bug, but I think there's a good possibility. Obviously, hopefully they'll fix that by the time it goes live. And last but not least is the cube. Now, if you played in 8.3 and you really hated Visions, I got some bad news for you guys, because this is basically Visions all over again. But it is what it is. This is what Blizzard has decided we're doing in 9.1. So on my first Torghast run on the PTR, so assuming the first time you run in 9.1, you're going to get a quest somewhere in the floors to come back here and see the Rune Carver and activate the cube. And essentially the cube is just a collection of powers. Like I said, if you played in 8.3, you will recognize this. It's almost exactly the same as Visions. And the tower knowledge that you saw me get at the end of that run, I got 120 for getting 4 stars at the end of that layer 12 run. And obviously I've already bought several of these powers. I haven't, played quite enough on the PTR to unlock the whole tree, but I'll kind of walk through these with you real quick. Begin each run with 1, 2, and 3 blessings. So again, this is how you start with more blessings, and this correspondingly is how you start with fewer torments, which again just makes it easier. Again, I was talking about the progress bar, and when it goes past that 2/3 marker, this is what I'm talking about. Becoming empowered increases your movement speed and your haste, which is nice, right? Here's one to automatically loot enemies, which, again, if you're going for a speed run, it's obviously nice to save time by not stopping to loot enemies. However, in testing so far, they might fix this, but it's very selective in what it loots. If something is far away from you, like you're a ranged or a caster or something, it's probably not going to loot it. You're probably still going to have to stop and pick up the Phantasma. So hopefully they fix this. But as of this time of making this video right now, it's not fixed. We've also got, again, empowered, decays more slowly. So again, that progress bar, once you get it past that 2/3 marker, it goes down more slowly. So you retain buffs like this, the movement speed and haste, longer. So generally a good thing. Here we have extra items, extra powers, are available on the brokers on floor 3 and floor 5, which is, pretty useful. I've definitely gotten some good epic powers right before the boss that was really useful. So you might get some mileage out of this. Reduce damage taken from bosses. I will come back to this one. This is the Adamant Vaults. When you engage a boss, you get more damage for 20 seconds. This one's actually pretty nice for survivability. Whenever you pick up those full remnants that give you primary stat, you also get stamina out of it now. You take less damage from traps. I mean, this depends entirely on how good you are at avoiding traps. When you die, there's a chance it won't count. Depends on how much you die. Obviously, try not to die. But, I mean, you have, like, several deaths per layer, you know, before the Terror starts chasing you. So, I mean, your mileage may vary with this, obviously. You take less damage from elites. Honestly, this is always a good thing, especially when you get those pulls that are, like, just 2 or 3 elites at once. This can be really useful. When you kill 10 enemies, an additional power will drop. This has potential to be really nice. I don't have it yet, so we'll see how that works out. Elites add additional value to the progress bar. Again, all ties back into these 2 powers. And last here, 1 time per run, you can re-roll the anima powers that an orb gives you. And last but not least, while empowered, again, above 2/3 of the bar, your damage and healing are increased. So all of these empowered powers kind of tie in together to just make your run just smoother and smoother every time. So essentially, and especially if you grind this out, this is grindable. Again, so like I was saying, you can do repeat runs in a week. You will get additional tower knowledge, and you will be able to come back here and pump more points into these and just keep making your runs easier and easier. In my personal opinion, I am a 226 eye level geared frost mage. I don't know, what specs have it easy or hard with Torghast or whatever, but with none of these powers unlocked yet. I found layer 12 doable. Honestly, I don't feel that, like with visions, I felt that you needed the first several powers unlocked before you were really capable. Especially getting the orbs that restored your sanity and all that stuff. I don't feel that way with this. I feel that it is doable without any of these powers, but the powers make it easier and easier every time you run. Last but not least, I was talking about the Adamant Vaults. I am going to be entirely honest with you guys. I haven't tested this out yet. I don't have this power yet, and I don't really know what this is. All I know is that it requires a 5-star run and having that power unlocked. So hopefully I will have some free time to test that next. And if so, I will, try to get out a video summarizing all that and what the rewards are from Adamant Vaults and whatever I can find out. So that's pretty much it, guys. So, love it or hate it, Torghast is, here to stay, obviously, for 9.1 and probably this entire expansion. So, hopefully this, helps prepare you guys for how things are going to change and, grinding out any new Covenant legendaries you may want to try that are getting added in, this patch. And hopefully you find all of these changes to, make your Torghast time less tedious. Thanks a lot for watching my video, guys. If you ever want to hop in my Twitch stream and chat it up, the link is below. I'd love to chat with you guys at any time. And if I'm not streaming, I have my own Discord where I'm happy to answer questions absolutely anytime. You guys can always PM me on Discord. Like I said, all the links are below. Thank you guys for watching my videos, supporting my channel. Just thank you guys, and I'll see you next time with the next video. Peace.